Hello Zainey friends, thank you for joining us today. You might see us in a little bit of a different background because we are at my parents' house riding out Hurricane Irma, but we wanted to get this out for you. Today we are doing a collab with my friend Lena from my Geeks and Beauties group, and we are doing a Marshall Buys Makeup. So in this case, normally Marshall would buy makeup for both of us, but in this case she actually bought me makeup and sent it to me, and then Marshall bought her makeup and sent it to her. So I will link her video down below so that you can check out and see what Marshall got for her. But in the meantime, we are going to jump in. Please forgive us for us being a little bit off while we do this video because we don't really have a lot to talk about right now because hurricane. But on top of that, I just don't know. So this might be kind of a weird talking video.
Yeah.
I'm just preparing you. But before we jump in, I wanted to tell you what I've already used on my face. Unfortunately, because we evacuated to my parents' house, I don't have a lot of things to use, like foundation-wise.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to try this Hourglass Vanish foundation that we got in the Sephora Play, and I hate it. Like, I legitimately hate it. It sinks into my pores. So if you can see this at all, like in my nose and my chin, yeah, I apologize. but that's basically what I was using on my face today. I tried to blend it in with a little bit of Smashbox, but it just wasn't having it. It seemed to be like calming down a little bit here, but ooh, and I wanted to like it, but then I didn't want to like it because it's expensive and I didn't want to have to buy it, so I'm glad I don't like it. Alright, so the theme for this collab is back to school. So she gave me a variety of products, so I'm just going to jump in and start with how I normally do my routine, and Marshall is going to kind of try to comment on what I'm doing.
Whenever I can.
So the first product I'm using is the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder for light skin. And I have never used this. I'm actually pretty excited to try it. I don't think I've used a lot of Essence, but this reminds me a lot of the Wet n Wild one. Also, it is a bronzing powder, but I'm going to use it to contour. So I'm going to use this brush, which we got in our BoxyCharm this past month. It's an interesting contour shape, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. So yeah, let's talk about our school, I guess.
Yeah, we kind of each had very different schooling. Once we reached high school age, we actually went completely different paths. You went to public high school for the entirety of your high school, and then
I did.
For 3 of my years, I went to a public high school, but I went to a Christian high school for the first year, but we moved. So.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you went to
we kind of flip-flopped.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so I went to a Christian college, a Baptist college, and he went to a public college. So we kind of flip-flopped at that point. And
your major was in communication?
It was a communications with a minor in music. So but it was communication arts. So it was theater, journalism, speech and debate, communication. Yeah. So as far as this product goes, I really do like it. It's light enough for my skin, which is fantastic, but it doesn't really look orange, which is also nice. And you can see that it has a really nice contour. I like this brush a lot too because it's very like right in there, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a broader version of, as far as like the thickness, roundness of the brush that you would typically use to do certain like contours when you're doing painting.
Right.
Normally it would be about, like for us as artists, it would be about that thick.
Right, yeah. Okay. So the next thing she gave me is a blush. So I got the Essence Satin Touch Blush in Satin Coral. I have had one of these in the past, but not this color. And these are actually one of my favorite blush formulas. They're really good. And I'm going to use this Luxie 660 Precision. It's a foundation brush, but I like to use it for blush. I got this probably in an Ipsy bag. I don't know. All my best brushes I get in makeup bags, you know. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
That is it.
That has some fallout.
Tap that off. Tap that off. I'm going to be very light hand with this because I really don't know. Oh, it's not going on too bad, actually. Let's try the other side. All right. It's really nice. It's nice.
There might have been a lot of fallout, but it's not like too harsh.
It really isn't. You can see that really well on camera too.
Yeah, it's good.
This is one of the reasons why I'm actually really jealous of my parents' house, because they have a lot more light coming in and it looks a lot brighter than in our apartment that has like tiny, tiny windows.
Well, also, I think their walls are colored differently than ours.
Yeah, they have like a much lighter color on their wall, for sure. Right after that, we have the Ulta Beauty Illuminator Sheer Radiance Finish in Brilliant Diamond. That's what that looks like right there. I'm so used to being on the other side and holding things up all the time. I'm like in front of my face. Yeah, so there's that. I'm going to use my favorite, if I can find it, highlighter brush. This is the Real Techniques setting brush. I'm going to be using that one. I know, again, it's a setting brush, but it's great for applying highlighter because it's just really nice and small. Yeah.
Yeah, so how long did it take you to finish college, actually?
It took me, well, okay, so here's the thing. I actually graduated within 5 years. I don't know, because I changed not my major, but, you know, you go in for, like, theater, and what do you do with a theater degree? Like, literally, what do you do?
Well, what do you do with a BA in English?
Not much. Well, you teach. But in theater, it's really hard. There's not a lot of things that you can do with that. So I had thought, okay, I'm going to get I was going to get a master's in business administration. So I started taking some classes and went around and around and trying to find a lot of different things that I could do. But the problem was I got sick. And I went through a lot of tests. They didn't know what happened to me. For years, I was sick. And so because of that, I was kind of like bouncing around. I came out here to live. I went back to California. I worked at camps and stuff like that before they really figured out that what was wrong with me was that I had sleep apnea. And because of that, I never really finished. So technically, I was in college, including graduate studies, for about 6 years. And then I stopped. What do you think of the highlight?
I think it's really nice. It's got a little bit of glimmer to it and a little iridescence to it. And
It does. It's really good. So the eye look that she gave me is this Ulta Complete Eye. It says it's in the shade Classical. It's a nice little 5 pan. I have never used Ulta shadows like this before either, which is what I'm glad. She gave me like all this stuff I've never used, which is awesome. I've already primed my eyes with the NYX. It's that white in the pot shadow base stuff. So I have that already on there. So let's try, let's try this. There seems to be 2 matte shades, a glitter shade, and a couple of shimmer shades. So I'm going to use this shade right here all over the lid right now so that I can set that eye primer. And then I think I'm going to go in with this shade right here in the crease and work it in. I'm probably going to try to use all of the shadows in here, which means that I will then go over with this one in the crease, this one on the lid, and then this one right here I will use along my upper line, and then I'll probably use some of this glitter shade in the lower line too.
So in the meantime, when I went to college, I knew kind of what I wanted to go for. I had spent most of my life wanting to go into robotics, but then I very quickly realized I did not enjoy math. And I did enjoy doing art, doing comic strips when I was in high school. My friends were enchanted with little comic strips that I did every day for them. So I decided to go instead into more of a comic book direction, but I knew I had the Illustrator almost down. I decided to go into graphic design to kind of learn more about layouts and things like that. So I did digital media graphic design as my major, and then about 2 years in, they deleted that major.
Oh, nice.
And they took out all of the tests and programs that you would need in order to get into the classes to finish. So I was given a series of different choices. Either I could go switch into a digital media school in there and completely restart my major because all of the prerequisites would be completely different. Or I could switch into the analog graphic design, which again, completely different stuff, so I'd have to basically start over. Or I can just run through everybody else's hoops that is now crisscrossed to get all of the classes. And so that's what I did. I ended up with 1 or 2 semesters where I took very few classes, but I also took a bunch of classes that had nothing to do with anything, just to maintain my scholarship.
Yeah, because he actually got the scholarship at that time. The Bright Future Scholarship in Florida paid for
100%.
But right now it does not. It actually has gone down. They don't do that. But you were one of the last ones that actually did that, right?
Yeah, and so I actually managed to go through 6 years of college, and really I only paid for a little bit of one of them, which was one where I had reduced scholarship because of issues. But when I got to the end, I had such a wide variety of different classes that the counselor took a look at it and was like, whoa, you've been everywhere. Because I had Spanish language, I had philosophy, I had world religions, sci-fi appreciation, comedy appreciation, 2 different forms of writing, both technical and creative, and a whole bunch of others, and all of those were in honors classes. So I was everywhere, because they wouldn't let me go where I wanted to go.
And so what do you do with what you have learned? What do you do with that?
I almost feel like we should go through like a slideshow from there, because pretty much what I do is I'm a graphic designer now, and I do a lot of my work digitally. So I mean, we could turn the camera around and see some of the analog work that I did. Which,
oh yeah, that's up on the wall, yeah.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see that Mom kept that, and I'm like, I'm not very proud of that one, but apparently she is. But yeah, I do that. Hey, I can design your logo for you. I can design your website for you if you don't want anything particularly fancy.
Yeah, and you can also check out his artwork every month on the Zainey Laney wax box, because he does the postcard art, he does the cover art for all of the wax melts, so that is how he is using his degree. I want to tell you how I'm using my degree.
Yeah.
So there are a series of really strange events. Just to kind of summarize, once I left college, I worked for every Disney theme park in the United States, with the exception of everyone. I worked in every single Disney theme park in the United States. So I have a hospitality background. I worked at Paramount's Great America, which I don't think is called Paramount's Great America anymore. I worked for that for a little while, so I have a very heavy theme park background also. What I did was I ended up working at a couple camps. One of them was a Western horse camp. The other one was just like a conference center. And then after that, I kind of like I just didn't know what I was doing. You know, I was in my late 30s. I was like, I don't know what is happening. I basically had like an early midlife crisis and ended up moving out here to Florida with my parents again, because the economy in California was bad. You know, we didn't really have a job. Like, me and my husband both didn't have a job. So we moved out here. And of course, I went back to Universal because I had worked at Universal before. When I worked out here, I worked double Universal and I worked for Build-A-Bear Workshop. But okay, so I've had a lot of jobs. But most of it is in hospitality or travel tourism. So I went back to Universal because I was like, you know, it's close and I like it, you know, whatever. It's easier to get to than Disney from where my parents were.
Yeah.
So I got a job there working for Blue Man Group, which theater background, right? So I worked in the box office, worked my way all the way up to be an analyst and ticketing, and then I moved over to the operations side, which means I basically analyze the tickets that are being built for Universal. So anything that comes in, like their parks, any like product, not like merchandise, but like a ticket media. Yeah. It's hard to explain like where the breakdown is on that, but basically that is what I do, is I look at what is being asked of like a ticket promotion or an actual product, and I look at it and say, how do we build it in the system? Or actually I build them in like 5 or 6 different systems right now. It's really complicated. But anyway, that is how I used my theater degree, because through a series of events just kind of worked out that way, and it became a career. And you know, after being the type of person that's been very analytical all my life, like I look at things and people think that that's very negative of me. Like, why are you like hyper criticizing this? When they don't realize that the way my mind works is I have to look at the information, I have to talk it through and say, how does this information impact? And then I make a decision based on that. So I think that's one of the ways that like going back to school and learning like how you are, how people interpret you as maybe being a little bit negative in a certain way or being like, you know, critical of things. They need to look at the other way and say, oh, this is how you use that. You have to be analytical about something for this current job, your permission. If you have that inclination to go towards the analytical mind, I mean, I'm constantly looking at things and going, okay, well, this is like this, should we do this? What about this? How about this? And that's where it's really important for me to have people alongside me who are like, okay, so that's maybe not such a good idea. Maybe we should do it this way because of this point of view. And that's why it's very important for you to have people that challenge your points of view. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you had a very social experience in college, didn't you?
I did. And I still am, an extroverted introvert, and now I'm a situational introvert. So what that means is that I liked to be alone. I needed that to kind of get my energy back, but I had a lot of friends and I hung out with them a lot because it was a whole college experience. Now I have anxiety around a lot of people. I just can't do it. Now I'm a situational introvert. If I'm very comfortable with you, I'm good. You know, we're good. But if I'm not, it takes me a very long time to warm up to you. It doesn't mean I don't like you. It just basically means I've been hurt and I don't trust people very easily. You really have to prove to me that you are not going to just screw me over. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, I've always been kind of just introverted. So when I went to college, I was part of the honors college, and they had their own little lounge room, and so I would be in there. But that was pretty much the limit of my social activities. Once they moved to the new building and the lounge was no longer really that much of a lounge, it was more of a place where they went, hey, we're going to bring in people to show how wonderful the honors college is, and look at our lounge. Isn't it a lovely lounge? Okay, we're walking on. So you could never actually, lounge in the lounge.
Okay, so let's talk about this because we're starting to get a little long on time. So I'm trying to use this black shade as like a liner. It's not working very well, so I'm just going to give that up, and we're gonna go with what I have so far. It's really nice. I like it. It blends very, very well. It is a little bit powdery, but it blends really, really well. The next thing she gave me is the Ulta Gel Eyeliner in Black Brown, which I'm going to use as a liner, and we will try to use it as a liner. For me, it's really hard to use anything but liquid liners because of my hooded eyes. It tends to tug a lot, so I have a hard time with these, but I will definitely try it. And then this is the Essence Make Me Brow. She got me the shade Blondie Brows, and it's actually really funny because I use this already. This is the one thing that I already use. So this is actually mine that she sent me another one, but it's exactly the same, and I just wanted to use one that was open, but this is amazing, and I use it like every single day. It's very similar to the Benefits Gimme Brow, so yeah. And then the mascara she gave me is the Essence Get Big Lashes, the 3 Triple Black mascara, which I will try to be using. Also, I think I have used this in the past, and I don't really remember how I liked it. So that's what's gonna happen with the eyes right now, and then I will get to the lips as soon as we're done. We're almost done. I promise, guys.
Yeah. So yeah, I just didn't have much of a social experience in college. I just kind of did my own thing, took care of my classes, and went home. So
well, that's also because he didn't live on campus when he went to college. It was a huge college, but he lived at home, whereas I lived on campus because I was so far away. I think I had more of the social life than he did.
She went to college in a completely different city from where we were living at the time.
Like 6 hours away.
Yeah, and so when we moved out here without her, because she was already having her own life at that point, and it was time for me to go to college, it was like, oh, well, UCF is right down the street. So I just went there, but that meant I didn't need to stay on campus, and I just
saved him a lot of money, probably.
Oh, it saved me a huge batch of money. I really wish that I had done what one guy told me about. It's basically making your full-time job looking for scholarships. He said that he managed to get out of college with actual extra money in his pocket without ever taking a real job.
That's kind of crazy. And I know that we're 6 years apart. So when I went to college and when he went to college, it's actually very different. And the resources available to me to find these kind of things was very limited. Whereas for him, he had a lot more resources to find this kind of thing. Plus he went to a kind of a state college in a way. I did not. So there was a lot more available for him than there would have been for me also.
However, there's a big difference when you do start looking for a lot of these. When you look for scholarships for women, there's actually a lot more scholarships for women available.
Especially now, yeah.
Especially now. But when you look for scholarships for men that are not in a minority, it's really competitive and you have to work really hard to get them.
Seriously.
So there isn't much available for a white dude.
But can you find them? Yeah.
You can find them.
That was the point. Is like I had them, I just couldn't find them. Yeah. I mean, going back, knowing what I know now, I would be a lot more savvy about going to college, I think, and I wouldn't have as much debt. I did not have the scholarship. I took out a lot of loans for my 6 years, and I'm still paying them off, like, even this far ahead, and I will be probably until I die, just because it's that bad. And that is the nature of where we are. All right, so this last one that she gave me is the Neutrogena Moisture Color Stick, and I have the shade Rich Raisin. So I like it. It is very moisturizing, but it feels like it's probably not going to last all day. We'll go there. Whatever. We'll see if it does. However, on the whole, I have to say that everything she gave me is really awesome, and I like all the different things that I've never really tried before. I think it's a solid back-to-school look. Very natural, very, like, not overstated. You know, if you're in high school, you could probably get away with wearing this, although in high school, they're all out there. But if you're going to, like, work or somewhere, this is probably a really nice natural look.
I like the lipstick's color. It's got a little bit of orange to it, but it's not bad for your skin tone.
It really isn't. It isn't at all. I really like it a lot.
That's good.
So you guys, please check out Lena's video down below so that you can see what we got her. I'm actually really excited for a lot of the stuff we got her. We had a lot of fun. Marshall picked them out, walking around. Also, if you guys want to do this with us, then comment down below or leave us a message, and we can do it with you too. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching, but until next time.
Stay Zainey.
Bye-bye.